Hello, this is Sarah V, and today I would like to sew up a white shirt, just so I have a cute little white shirt to wear this summer. I am using more of this white rayon that I used back at the beginning of my channel to make a Vogue blouse. I can link that somewhere, on either side, somewhere. And the pattern I am using is Simplicity 2382. I would like to make this view down here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do the double buttons or not, but I thought it was awful cute, especially with the Peter Pan style collar. I think it would be nice and feminine as far as a little white blouse would go. So that is what I want to do today. So yeah, because I have been in need of a little blouse, a little white blouse in particular, for a while now. I wanted to make one in the fall, and I did not. So I would also like to make a long sleeve one and maybe a 3/4 sleeve one, but that is for another day. Right now, a white blouse would just be nice for the summer. When I opened up my fabric before I ironed it, I found out I had this chunk of fabric still from a previous make. So I figured I would see everything that I could fit on it and try to use that up just so it's out of the way. And I think whenever I had made my last thing out of this fabric, I ripped to the amount I needed, so I didn't have as much to iron whenever I had to iron it. So I probably bought at least 5 yards when I bought it. So there's that. Even though it's only August currently, I've already begun to think of some of the patterns I want to use this fall. And I still have a couple things I want to make this summer, but I recognize that the summer's starting to end. So now I kind of want to make stuff for fall. But at the same time, I don't want the summer to end because I'm not done with my garden yet. But all of the plaid fabric I have, it just really calls to me. And I want to make stuff out of plaid again. I did plant some stuff in July, so I would have some stuff ready in the later parts of the summer, like some zucchini and some summer squash. I also heard that that helps with vine borers because it's later in the season. So I'll have those along with my 4 pumpkins, my butternut squash, my tomatoes, my green beans, peppers, all that jazz. The green beans I planted for fall though are purple green beans, and the little flowers for the green beans are purple too, which is exciting. I do know that they're going to turn green whenever they're cooked, but they'll be cute and purple until they're cooked. And my big rainbow tomato has quite a few tomatoes on it. I had to prune back some of the heavier limbs because it was starting to snap and that was kind of bad. But I still have a lot of tomatoes on it. So I have all of this cut out. My first piece of fabric, let me change that, that's bad. My first piece of fabric I was able to use up from the last time I made a shirt out of this fabric, so that was quite good. Was able to cut this facing, one collar piece, and this sleeve piece from it. So that worked out pretty good. And since it was so wide, this didn't take up that much fabric, which was good too. these are the buttons that I'm going to be using, and I don't think that I'm going to be doing the double buttons. I think I'll just do regular buttons because I have 8 of these buttons, and I think to do the double buttons I need 9 buttons. Unless, I think, and I might need the buttons, and I might need the buttons in case, because I lengthened the waist by 2 inches. So I might need the extra buttons anyway. So even if I did do the extra button and do a different button at the very top, I might still need the buttons. So the chances are I'll just do it regular. But yeah, and also when I opened up the pattern, there was no sleeve piece in there. It had the sleeves for view 1 and 2, but not for view 3. And it did also, I was also missing the back facing, so I had to make that piece. So I ended up using, I use this pattern a lot just as a guide to grade my patterns up sometimes. And I ended up using this sleeve. I cut it off. I used the fold line for the sleeve as the bottom of the sleeve and added 5/8 to it so I can sew on, that's not the cuff, but the little cuff that goes along the bottom. And I need to label this so whenever I put it away I know what this is. I think all the other pieces are labeled, it's just this piece. I currently have all of the interfacing on the cuffs, the collar, and the back neck facing. I still have this to put on for the front, for the button placket, but I have these all pinned, so I just need to go ahead and sew this first, and then I can put the interfacing on there. This blouse has quite a few tucks, and then 2 darts for the back of the neck. So there was 8 tucks, I guess. And I decided that my machine sounded kind of thirsty. So after I did all these tucks, I decided to clean it and oil it because it's been a while. And I do try to take care of her because I do like her very much. And she just sews through this rayon beautifully. But anyway, you see how dark that thread is? I'm looking at it, and that's because I didn't clean off the oil because there was excess oil, and now I'm trying to wipe it off. And it still doesn't help. It helped, I don't know, a tiny smidge. So whenever I wash it for the first time, I'm going to probably treat it with some dish soap. But anyway, I just took this piece of scrap fabric and sewed until it went clean again, and then resumed business. But even with this, every once in a while I would get like a little pinprick of dirty oil on my blouse, which isn't the best. So especially if I make something for somebody else, I don't like to use this machine if I'm using white, because that tends to happen a lot. If anyone has any tips on how to keep that from happening, let me know. But I'm just sewing those shoulder seams together, which the center of the shoulder is back a little bit from that seam. And these, I believe, I think this is the collar here. It should be the collar. because now that the shoulder seams are done, I like to put the collar in before I do the sleeves, because if I do the sleeves first, then I have more to work with when I'm putting the collar in. And this is just the neck facing to the front facing. And then I will just go ahead and sandwich everything together and sew it all at once. I have gotten just a smidge lazy when it comes to trimming curved seams and clipping them, and I've just been lobbing the seam allowance off with my pinking shears, which just seems to work well enough. I don't know how good it is long term as far as laundering, but since it's pinked, I'm sure it's fine. You see there? It's all pinked. And then I'm understitching it. Maybe if I would have actually clipped it, that facing would have fit a little nicer in there, which I talk about later, because the back facing got kind of lumpy, and it might have just been because I didn't clip it well. I just pinked the whole curve. And I could have understitched a little farther, starting and ending, but I was like, oh, but what if I want to wear it open? So this isn't going perfectly. Disregard my pattern piece that fell on the floor. There's something strange going on with my facing. But the color seems to cover it up, so I don't know how much I care about it. Also, my machine's been getting little pinpricks of dirty oil on it, which that's super cute. These keep wanting to flip out, which I think I'm gonna have to tack these up somehow, because that's not a cute look. It probably doesn't help that this is rayon, so it's kind of floppy. The length is good. It needs hemmed, and I have to do the buttons and buttonholes, and then it's pretty much done. But I might have to do something with that facing in there. And I feel like there's not as much ease as I would like in the back. Same within the sleeves. And I feel like I would have gotten a better fit if I would have just drafted the pattern myself. But other than that, it's fine. I'll wear it. It'll be fine, but not as good as it could be. But it's better than a polyester shirt. And also trying it on, it just doesn't look right because it's just like this long white shirt. But with a cute, period appropriate skirt, I think it'll be cute. Or even a vest, that would be cute too. And I can actually layer this one, because the last white shirt I made out of rayon I wanted to layer stuff with. I couldn't because it had an all-in-one sleeve. Kind of, I think they consider it a kimono sleeve. But this one does not. So I can actually layer this one even if it's not perfect. And now I am doing the hem. I think I only did 1/2 inch, and I have the facing turned from the other direction, so I can flip it and it'll be on the inside. And that just reduces bulk at the bottom whenever it's hemmed. But I had thoughts whenever I was making this, like, oh, maybe I could wear the shirt open with the top button open. And then I tried it on like that, and the collar just looked funky. It's just not a shirt that's meant to be worn with the collar open. So luckily the neck isn't too small, otherwise I think I would be quite disappointed. But I do want to make more little tie things, I have one little scarf that I can wear with it because I think that illustration on the front is super cute. And today I was looking up some little tutorial things about how to make some stuff like that, because I think that would be a fabulous addition to my wardrobe. I would say, based on the fact that it's Wednesday and this needs to be up for Saturday, and I have a dress to make to wear to a wedding on Sunday, that I will not be doing the bound buttonholes. Is just, that won't be happening. I'm just going to put regular buttonholes in, and I think it'll be fine. If you are really dead set on watching me make bound buttonholes, I have 2 other videos that I can link somewhere, if that's what floats your boat. But I have to mark out the buttonholes along here, and I just put a pin in, and then because I use my buttonhole machine, I just make sure it's squared up and it's fine. The buttonhole attachment was not in fact overly kind to me this time, and I did break 2 needles. I don't know why she tends to break needles with this machine, because the plate is sitting in the right spot. It's not like it's not like the needle's hitting the plate. The needle's going directly into the hole. I don't know if maybe I'm accidentally pulling it, which could be a possibility, but I try not to. But I kind of hold my breath whenever I do these buttonholes, because I'm always scared the needle's going to break. Which isn't exactly my favorite thing in the world, if you can imagine. And I had that piece of fabric under there because I didn't know how much of the shirt was going to be sticking under the buttonhole attachment, and I didn't want any oil from that to get on my shirt either. And whenever I'm doing, I guess, vertical buttonholes, because there's so much of the shirt underneath it, or the garment, I guess, it can tend to get oil on it. Overall, I'm happy with how this turned out. I think there could be a little more room in the sleeves, just because when I go forward, get some of this happening. And then of course I'm getting those wrinkles into the armpit area. So that could be better, but I did have to substitute the sleeve in because the piece was missing. So I can't be too hard on myself for that. But I might have to add a snap up here if I wear it without a tie. This happens a lot. I'm sorry. Where this kind of wants to flap. But yeah, so there's that. And I have some blousing, which is good, I guess, because it's a blouse. The facing isn't as lumpy as it was now that it's been tacked down at these seams. So there's that, which I guess that's good too. I feel like I did a kind of mediocre job making this, but as long as I can wear it, it fulfills the need I have in my wardrobe for a white short sleeve blouse that's not made out of polyester. And I think I only paid $5 or $6 a yard for this fabric, and I probably used 2 yards or less. So it's not that much of an investment material-wise. And of course I got the buttons when the Joann's was closing, so I got those quite cheap too. So it's crazy how 4 buttons was originally priced as $9 though. Because they're just little chunks of plastic, but what do I know? And I did put a little button there over the tack that I did. I thought it was kind of cute and a good use of the last 2 buttons on my sheet. I was a bit dull whenever I was doing the buttonholes because I didn't look at my pattern and I was like, oh, the buttonhole, I didn't mark any of the buttonholes on the pattern when I marked it over. But I just wasn't thinking, and I should have used the center front that I had marked on the pattern to dictate how far in I was setting the buttons, and I didn't. So the buttonholes aren't as far over as they should be in relation to how far over the buttons are. So there's more of a gap between, I apologize, more of a gap in between where these two meet in the middle. But yeah. I can't decide whether I would like these sleeves a little shorter because they are a bit long, but I feel like the only reason why short sleeves got shorter was partially because of, well, over time, even t-shirt sleeves got shorter. I feel like it was just a way to use less fabric, partially. I don't know. But these older patterns have longer short sleeves, so I guess it's appropriate. I did cut 2 inches off of them already, but I did just go with where the fold line was. And there was some weird cuff on that. I've made that pattern before, but it's been a while. So but I think that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more summer sewing, please subscribe. If you'd like to see what I'm up to day today, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Sarah V Sews Vintage. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.